Hey y'all, come on. I don't know, I've only got a few followers. Don't you like the glasses? Help me see a little better in the morning. Come on, let's get her going. Where's my followers? Maybe some of these get out here. It's fun. It's a blast. Oh boy, woohoo! So anyhow, I just cruising on down US 400 in Kansas. 'Cause I got the hell out of Washington. I know some things that are getting ready to happen up in Washington. Those people up there aren't going to be too damned happy. They just had a world record snowfall in Washington, in Seattle, a couple weeks ago. Shut down highways for days. And they thought back in 2008 they had snowmageddon. Hey, how you doing, buddy? What's going on, Joe? Howdy, howdy. Great state of Kansas coming at you. It's still the I-5 Mad Hatter. I'm pissed about that whole area of the world changing laws, making it harder and harder to live up there. So I got the hell out. Yeah, long time no see. It's going to change though, and I'm going to start putting up videos. Talk about truck driving, talk about some politics, talk about the weather, like I have been. So how you been, Joe? Tell me. You got to give me a chance though. 70 miles an hour with 80,000 pounds behind me. A little difficult to read the comments. Anyhow, uh, so what's on your plate, Joe? Tell me. Let's talk. Let's get going. What? Okay, fine. I'll talk. That's what you came on here for, anyhow. Yes, you have. 35 years as a truck driver. Well, start telling your friends about me. We'll start dropping some other bombs about truck driving. I've been out here long enough, a couple months, driving meat products, and right now I've got a whole truckload of libbies on the table. Anyhow, let's talk a little bit about this weather. It's crazy. I'm driving out to western Kansas to go visit my sister and my niece and nephew and her husband, and they're telling me that there's another big snowstorm coming through Kansas. Uh, Way back a year ago, I started talking about ADAPT 2030, and I've been talking about the weather changing, and I heard just last week there was a great big jumbo jet that made record time flying in the jet stream. Actually broke the sound barrier from New York or from Los Angeles, excuse me, flew all the way to London in record time. Caught that jet stream, that tailwind, and picked up over 800 miles an hour. That's fast for a jumbo jet. I mean, they're not even designed to go much faster than 700 miles an hour, even with a tailwind. That pilot must have been sucking the cushion up. Yeah, gray skies forever. I know, right? I was up in Wisconsin a couple days ago, and it was -7 degrees temperature. I was delivering cheese to Wisconsin, cheese, because over from Iowa, with a whole bunch of cheese going into Green Bay, and there was 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. Not on the highway. It was all cleared off. They do a great job of clearing that road up there. Yeah, yeah, things are getting crazy, man. That weather, Joe. I'm gonna tell you, since you're the only one on here, I'll tell you, man. When it comes right down to it, adapt 2030. Here it's called the Ice Age Farmer. I'm gonna start dropping these folks to you. They've got some great research. We're in what they call a grand solar minimum. That sun, that great big shiny thing in the sky, is not shutting off. It's just cooling off. And therefore, the planet's going to cool off. And it has been for the last couple of years. I've been watching it. Well, another thing, what happens when that sun starts to shut down a little bit, cool off, it's electromagnetics. They change. And I've been noticing that the GPS has been kind of wonky here the last couple of years. GPS on the phones, the GPS in my truck, it's kind of wonky. I'll be driving down a road, and all of a sudden, that road, instead of going perfectly east and west, like I'm on right now, it kicks off and it looks like it's going to the north-northwest or north-northeast. Yeah, yeah. The GSM. Yeah, exactly, man. I hope you help other people wake up to this stuff because this globe is cooling off, and we're going into a grand solar minimum. It's called a Maunder minimum. It has a 400-year cycle, and we are at the bottom of that cycle. See, every cycle, kind of like a sine wave, has a high, and then it drops down, and we've been living through the bottom trough. Instead of the upper peak, we're at the bottom trough. And they've been attempting to tell us that we're at the top of the peak. Like I always say, everything that they tell us in the news, the mass media, the government, is 180 degrees reversed. They're telling us we're at the high when we're really going into the low. We're not talking millions of people going to die, folks. We're talking billions of people are going to die from starving to death. And they say that this is actually going to get ramped right on up and get really serious on here over the next 10, 11 years. And the planets are aligned the way that they're supposed to be aligned. Our Earth's orbit is being stretched away from that bright, shiny thing in the sky. And we're going to get really cold up here in the northern climates. It's going to be really hard to feed cattle. It's going to be really hard to feed humans. It's going to be really hard to grow food. Now, I moved to Texas, and Texas is a lot warmer, just a couple states down from where I'm at right now. It's a lot warmer, and their fields are turning green, unlike I've ever seen in Texas. Texas, to me, used to always be a desolate freaking desert, and they're starting to grow more and more wheat and corn down in Texas. So, that's where the food's going to be, folks. All you fellas up there in the northern climates, like you, Joe, up there in Chicago, buddy, I'm telling you, there's going to be a mass migration south. Mr. Trump, let's talk about Trump. I like the fact that what he does, when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He's got all these people fighting against him, and he's getting things done. He's building the wall. He's protecting our borders. It's going to help keep the criminals out of our country. However, like every wall or every fence, it works both ways. Both ways, guys. Works both ways. Not only does it keep them out, but it keeps us in. Huh? I don't know about you, but I've been watching Mr. Trump. I've been watching how, Israel is just in love with Mr. Trump because he's a Zionist. He believes that Israel is the king of the earth, and I've got to tell you, it's not. That third temple is where the Antichrist is going to be. The Antichrist is already here. Now, Joe, I'm going to wake you up to something since you're the only one. Well, I've got two people on here now. Who's the other one? Come on, chime in so I can say hi. Who is it? I got one thumbs up so far. Oh, you like my hat? I don't know if you can see it, probably on backwards to you. But it says freedom isn't free. Support your Second Amendment, y'all. Yeah, support that. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. Real short like. Another reason I moved out of Washington is they've changed all the laws up there about how they're going to confiscate guns. Fighting for the promised land. Battle for, everyone. Exactly. Folks, been doing a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of video, watching and listening to while I'm on this road. I listen to all kinds of podcasts. It's something I've been doing for years, even when I was sitting behind a computer designing aircraft. Now I'm sitting behind a wheel delivering food because I think that's important. A hell of a lot more important than a lot of folks out there driving trucks and delivering paper goods. I mean, you can't eat paper. It isn't very good for you. I will tell you this. We have got, oh, who am I driving for? Sorry. I'm driving for a little bitty company out of Amarillo, Texas. I don't know if they'd appreciate me telling telling who it is while I'm driving and doing a video. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you while I'm driving. I'll do another video when I'm not driving. Because I don't tell them that I've got a, yeah, shh. Yeah, it's a safety thing, right? Even though I have hands-free stuff, I'm not holding this with it. You know, both hands are free. Well, they should be on the wheel at that time. But anyhow, back to what I was talking about. This grand solar minimum thing, and all the videos and research I've been doing, along with all the other prophecies that are coming true. And Trump is a catalyst to that. Believe it or not, he's a catalyst to these things. Everybody's all worried about Russian collusion. Shit, they should be worried about Israel collusion. Oh, in fact, you know, I don't monetize these videos. I could care less about monetization. I do this for free, for information. I'll share it with you at the truck stops. I don't expect anybody to pay me for what I share. I share this stuff for free. I want you guys to know that there's some stuff coming down the pike that you really ought to be doing research for yourself. So I talk about, you know, uh, all this grand solar minimum stuff, the politics. I mean, you know what they say about politics: two wings of the same bird, right and left. It's all connected to the same bird, and that bird has a beak and a brain, and that's what controls those two wings. And the guy with the beak and the brain, they happen to be the bankers and New York Stock Exchange and all the money guys. You know, Mr. Trump's finding money to build that wall. It's not real. It's Israel. It's the country Israel. As I go back into the good book and I find things in the good book, the Bible. I won't thump the Bible on y'all. No, I don't do that. No, I show you some things, and then you can go do the research yourself. See, way back in the day, Jacob, a fella named Jacob, changed his name to Israel. His name was Israel, but before it was Israel, it was Jacob. Israel means one who wrestles with God. I almost said dog. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, when it comes right down to it, one who wrestles with God. Well, I could change my name to Israel because I wrestle with God all the time. Everybody who wrestles with God, the questions of where we come from, why we're here, what are we going to do? What are we going to do after this meat suit, this fleshy meat suit? That, you know, he played the joke of taking my hair away, you know, taking my hair away. I always say it like this. I'm way off subject now. I always say it like this. God, the one I wrestle with, he only created so many perfect heads, and the rest he covered with hair, y'all. So if you got a head full of hair, don't shave it. So back to what I was talking about. The politics and all this weather change, you know, it says in the good book, we will know the time of the end of time, the end of this time, the end of this cycle will be known in the heavens and the stars. We will see signs and wonders in the sky. Well, yeah, some of those signs and wonders in the sky, you know, cloudy days for weeks and weeks on end. Back to what the sun's doing. The sun's losing its power. It's not losing it completely. Don't get me wrong here. It's losing its power, its electromagnetic influence over the Earth and the rest of the solar system. Therefore, when it loses that shielding effect, the electromagnetic shielding effect that the sun puts off, the Earth, it reacts to that with its own electromagnetic shielding event getting weaker as well. So now we're seeing cosmic rays hit the Earth. Now, I don't know if a whole lot of you know what cosmic rays are, but they're particles that scream through the universe. Scream through the universe, coming in from exploded stars inside our galaxy, coming in from other galaxies that are actually coming into our galaxy right now. We have the Andromeda galaxy is coming towards us. We'll crash into that in a few billion years, or hell, it could be tomorrow. We don't know. Got to shift gears. Downshift it. Oh yeah. If it grinds, I'm sorry. Oh, dude, almost like butter. Coming into a little town called Kingman, Kansas, where my grandparents were born. My granddad used to own damn near this entire county at one point in his life, back in the 19 teens and the 20s. Then he started selling off bits and pieces of it to other people who needed land to, raise cattle and farms. Fun stuff like that. I get off the topic again. There I go. Anyhow, so back to the sun. The sun's losing its electromagnetic power and allowing these cosmic rays from other parts of the galaxy, other parts of the universe, into our solar system. And they make their way to the Earth. Well, I will tell you this. Those cosmic rays, they make their way into the Earth, all the way to the center of the Earth, which, starts exciting other things inside the Earth. And, the planet, the crust that we live on, Mama's belly, we live on the Earth's belly. It starts getting excited, starts shifting and moving around. What, Joe? You drive an automatic? Yeah, I'm old school. I like having control when I'm going through the mountains. I want to be able to hit a gear and stay there. But so the Earth's crust is going to start moving around. We're going to start seeing some major freaking earthquakes again. The last time that, oh, here we go. We got to switch gears again. Going too slow for that gear. There we go. Hey, it didn't grind. I say it's a good thing when I don't grind them because I found them. But that Earth, volcanoes that haven't exploded in 400 years are waking up. One of those big ass volcanoes woke up about 40 years ago. Her name was Mount St. Helens. Blew up. Sent ash all the way around the Earth. In fact, they say that the ash is still in the atmosphere here 40 years later. Oh yeah. Yeah, 40 years later. I remember waking up and there was that fine ash all over my dad's brand new Cadillac. Don't wipe it off, it'll scratch the paint, he says. Well, there's another little volcano up there in the Pacific Northwest that I had the pleasure to play on for a few years, and I made a specific point of wanting to move up there just so I could go play on those volcanoes. Go climbing them, seeing the glaciers before they melt. Before Mount Rainier takes a big burp, and it's gonna be. I'm predicted right now. The Mount Rainier will take a great big burp here in the next 15 to 20 years. I'd like to live to see it. I would. I really would. I don't want to see the destruction that it's going to do to that area of the world. So, hopefully those people are smart enough to get the hell out of there. They got 15 to 20 years to do it. But I'm saying sometime before 2030, after 2030, between 2030 and 2040, that Mount Rainier wakes up and takes a great big burp because of what's going on with this grand solar minimum. That life as we know it is going to change drastically. Billions of people are going to die from starvation because we're not going to be able to feed them anymore. And I'm saying that this happens every 400 years. You can look back at the at history over the last 2,000 years. This has happened 5 times. In fact, we went through a little mini ice age in 1750, not even 300 years ago. See what I'm saying? It's out there, folks. It's out there for us to see. Strange signs in the skies. Take a look up. Stop looking at your damn cell phones and your computers and your iPads. Take a look up and see what the country and what our nation, our world nation, believe it or not, they're already in that what they call one world government. It's called the United Nations, which used to be called the United Arab Nations. They took Arab out because that scares the crap out of guys like, well, me. Gets us all up in arms, and I'm not talking these arms, I'm talking about rifles, shotguns, pistols, all kinds of howitzers, big guns. And then they just keep dumping third world people into our first world. You know, when you take poison and you put a drop of poison in a gallon of water, you know, like chlorine or fluoride, you take that poison, you put a drop of it in a gallon of water, it won't hurt you. Catching it? It won't hurt you. Not just one drop, but you put 3 drops in there, you can kind of start tasting it. Put 100 drops in there, you can really taste it. You keep putting drops into that gallon of water, sooner or later that gallon of water, one drink is going to kill you. You follow me? Joe? 2 of you? We really need to start spreading this word, and we need to start spreading it quick. There's a lot of us out here spreading this truth. They're destroying us by bringing these people into our country. They're destroying our culture, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, Joe, you got to get a couple of your buddies come and watch this, because I'm going to start putting these videos back up again. Mad Hatter is still here. I've just been doing a whole lot more research to get ready to start speaking this stuff to you. But when I get stopped, I want you guys, you know, I'm not going to stop making videos. But when I get stopped from driving the truck, I'll put a description. I've got an automatic description in there that covers some of this stuff. But I want to start putting some more links to other people's videos before they take these videos down. I'm also going to share this video over to what we call MeWe.com. MeWe. It's another platform like YouTube, only they don't censor us. We can speak about what we and me want to speak about on MeWe. MeWe.com. I'm sorry, Joe, I missed that. That comment went by too fast. Let me see if there's a way I can get the comments just to stay up. There we go. Now I can see all your comments. Right on. This is cool. Yeah, keep my eyes on the road. Well, my peripheral vision, I'm looking at my mirrors. When I come by looking at you guys, I'm looking at my mirrors, making sure that I'm driving okay. Just so you know, I'm looking at my mirrors too. In fact, that's the first time I turned my head this way, huh? Anyhow, y'all, we have got to start keeping ourselves on top of what our country is doing. How it's lying to us about the grand solar minimum and not even talking about it. How it's lying to us about what's going on in our skies. And I was just talking about, look up, guys, look up. Look up, see what those jets are doing. I worked in that propulsion area of Boeing for a couple of years. I was training engineers how to design propulsion systems, how to put these nozzles on the aircraft. I didn't know at the time what the hell was going on until I sat down at a design review And I went through the entire aircraft. The entire aircraft with these senior level engineers. And I started asking questions. And lo and behold, 2014, 5 years ago, lo and behold, they all of a sudden wanted me to move to South Carolina. And I'm like, what for? They know stuff. The entire Boeing company plant, everybody, is being moved to South Carolina. They've already got huge plants, huge manufacturing plants in South Carolina, building aircraft in South Carolina. They wanted to move me down there so that I could continue with my village idiot thing, teaching the village idiots to do what I know how to do. And I'm like, you guys don't have enough money to move me to South Carolina. I tried right next to the ocean. Notice where I'm at. I'm nowhere near the ocean. I'm nowhere near where things like tsunamis can come in and wipe out everything. Now, their plants are built far enough inland that they're not going to get wiped out by a tsunami. That out there in the northwest, they're getting the hell out of there because they know what's coming. Those guys up in the uppers, they don't listen to the mass media. That's what masses do. Three things I know about this grand solar minimum and what they're doing to our skies. They're bringing this grand solar minimum to a head. They're spraying our skies. They're spraying it. Harvard comes right out and admits it. They're spraying our skies. They want to block that sun. They want this ice age to come along faster to get rid of as many people as they can off this planet. Mighty sad. It's mighty sad. It's mighty sad what's going on. Instead of telling us the truth and allowing us to adapt and move our food growth south, move our population south, and get down out of the cold climates. Because I'm sorry, Joe, up there in Chicago, you guys are going to see a few years without summers. I mean, I'm talking where the snow is staying on the ground until June, July. You might see a couple of weeks where the temperature gets up to 70. A couple of weeks. It's going to be hard. You might see Lake Michigan completely frozen over for the entire year. I guarantee Lake Superior is going to be froze over for the entire year. Come 2030, those lakes are going to be frozen. There ain't going to be no shipping on those lakes unless they're icebreakers. I was up there. I went to the Green Bay. I went straight down to the water just because I was curious as to what it looked like when it was frozen. I've seen stuff on this trip from coming from the north up there to Wisconsin, coming down through Iowa and Nebraska. I've seen sheets of ice in the ditches that were hanging above the ground. Sheets of ice where the water flash froze on top, and the water underneath in the ditch was able to roll away, and the sheets of ice were hanging in the vegetation next to the road. You ever see that, Joe? I've never seen that. That's how cold it got up there. Flash froze the water at the surface, and the rest of the water in the ditch went ahead and rolled on down the road. Left sheets of ice up there. Anyhow, I've been on here for about 29 minutes. I'm going to start cutting her down. And I could stay on here longer if I could, maybe pull somebody in to do a little interview with. I'm just a small little old channel, spreading the word to the folks. A couple people here. You tell people about me. You guys, you might find that I'm kind of like a mix between Larry the Cable Guy and I don't know that other guy. What's his name? Richie from Boston. He gets out and spends his money to go travel. I get out and make money to go travel. I'm meeting people all the time. I'm telling people all the time. I don't tell them about my channel. I just tell them straight up. Tell them about our money system. I tell them about some of the hints in the good book. Hey, you stay safe too, buddy. I'm getting a chance to go see a couple of my grandkids here in the next couple of weeks too. Anyhow, you guys stay safe and tell your other buddies about this stuff. Just keep this small. We can spread the word mouth to mouth. We don't have to have it all on YouTube. Until the next time, possibly Monday. You bet. I'll look you up on MeWe. Shoot yeah. I've got a channel over there too. Till next time, y'all. Keep your stick on the ice.